We got the shop mascot. She's hanging out. Got it. Setting up your meeting. Redirecting. Welcome. You've got mail.
You've got mail.
All right. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Got it. All right. I got my window up. I didn't close this one out. Brian, first video completed. I'm excited. I hope it turned out well. I'm excited. Let me pop out my chat. BP, what up? Freddie, Fred, what up? Everybody, welcome back. We're just getting all of our windows set up. DS is laying on the job, but not laying on the job. Hunt, I was wondering if you were gonna come through. Crowdy, what up? We have a bunch of stuff we're gonna talk about. Especially the shorts. A lot of the shorts this week were good, especially the HSM one. We're going to talk about that, see what you guys think, what you guys are running, and I helped Ford Boss fix a vehicle today in the shop, so we're gonna kind of go over that. That was the headline for today is check your fuses. Everything, it seems silly, and I think sometimes we might forget that because we're so wrapped up with the repair or the concern, or we're our mind's somewhere else. And it was a senior tech quite some time ago when I was first starting off, and it got me. So we'll talk about that stuff. But everybody's checking in. What up, evening, gents? See the same guys. Everybody, what is going on? I really appreciate you. We got Rain Man, DS, Ford Bosses over here, giving it hell over there in the online battlefield, and we got CP. But today's short, the TCM, for you guys that have the 11 through 16s. I've been getting asked to do some 11 through 16 stuff, and I got a couple of things coming out, specifically one that I did today regarding TCM replacement. If you guys aren't familiar where Ford Boss and myself are, we are in the Rust Belt, the corrosion states, and there's a lot of things we see with suspension and brakes, and unfortunately, why I don't know what the reasoning for putting the TCM on the 11 through 16s right where they did, and even I think on the 6.4, if I'm not mistaken, on the driver's side of the frame, there's a little ledge, and the TCM bolts via two nuts to the bottom side of that bracket, and we have an aluminum cased module on a steel bracket. And if you guys remember, I'm sure Ford Boss, CP does, and I'm sure Rainman's probably got them into the 543 valves. What is over the spare tire? That fuel pump driver module. Corroded, oxidized, break it in half like a Rice Krispie treat, just blah. That's what this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
In the back, had the bracket, and it would have brought out, and you'd have to break the bracket away from the body.
Gosh, it's been a minute since I've done one of those. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever had to replace a TCM specifically on the 11 through 16s, but I was quite surprised that there was no programmable module installation, and that's a procedure that we all have to do via the scan tool. Once we have a module that needs to be replaced, we have to hook up obviously to the truck and download all of the configuration data, and if it communicates from the old module, and then it prompts us to replace the module. We put the module in and start following the prompts, and all that gets inhaled into the new module. So usually that's what we have to do, and I did not have to do that. And I show you guys a little bit of the procedure. I'm going to speed it up so you guys can follow along, but I show you a few things that I've run into specifically doing a TCM on these, and it was for an 11 with 201,000 miles. This one worked out. How many of you guys have replaced your TCM on your 11 through 16? Or if you have a 543 valve, you guys know what I'm talking about or have had. Have you had to replace a fuel pump driver module? I know it was really popular.
I've done a bunch of F-150s.
I mean, you could go back from the 543 valves all the way forward to 2014 with the fuel pump driver modules where they would rot out and cause problems and everything else. Even though from 11 to 14 they got a little bit better, they still were back there by the tire. And
now these, you've done the ones for the transits. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so those ones, have you seen those ones overheat?
Yeah, the pins melted, and yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen like the extent of. There's a recall on them.
We had an engineer come out from Dearborn, and he brought some tape that actually had a thermometer on it. It was really cool. Actually, I still have it.
What does it do? Change color, and that's how you know.
Yeah, it changed color. So we were actually able to visually see the range that the fuel pump driver module was working at. And then, I don't know if that's how they developed that recall, but whatever inside was overheating. Predominantly, we were doing them on the cop cars a lot because of all the equipment in the back on the Taurus, which is the fuel pump driver module that I'm talking about is for the Taurus, for the Explorer, for the Transit, for 683 valve. I mean, it's across a bunch of vehicle lines. And in this particular location, you got all the equipment and a tray that slides out from underneath a packaging tray. It's got all their boards and gear and all this stuff. And it's just really, there's no airflow or anything. And, they had you change it. Do we have those problems on the Power Strokes? I can't say. I don't think. Let me think. Hold on. I'm on the spot. Let me ponder. I don't think I have replaced 167 fuel pump driver module, Duty forward. I don't think I've ever had, but I guess any vehicle, because the pins and circuitry are going to be the same for every fuel pump driver module. If you guys watch my fuel tank draining hack, if you unplug your fuel pump driver module, the two outside pins of that connector, there's only two rows. The two outside pins, if you take two wires and go boop, boop, and then go turn your key on, your fuel pump will now run all the time. So if you want to pump your tank out or, I just put gasoline in it, don't fret. Use the pump in the tank, just suck the tank out, go disconnect the fuel line up on the engine. I show you how. I show you my little contraption that I use. And, it's pretty slick to not be, you're not making a mess. It's a controlled drain. You're getting pretty much everything out of the tank. But when that kind of scenario happens, you suck it down that low, keep looking at your fuel level indication, and then you'll be 100% safe. Fill that boy up with 10 gallons of fuel, get you a couple bottles of additive, and go to the fuel station, replace your filters, and then go to the fuel station and fill that thing up with the correct nozzle this time. But done that a bunch of times. Even the transits, little trickier. They have a quick disconnect, and sometimes matching up the quick disconnect out of your master fuel pressure test kit to get to this. I got it cobbled together, but I should probably get a video on that so you guys can figure that out. Because a lot of people, for whatever reason, I mean, I know it's right above where the DEF is, but a lot of people, I've had quite a few, probably a dozen, where transit people have either put either the wrong fuel dispensed into gasoline into the diesel, or put the DEF into the diesel. I've had that probably 4 or 5 times. That is just a mess. I mean, a mess. Um, and funny story. So I had a Transit, and the engine was locked up. So I wound up taking some stuff apart, pulled some of the injectors, and uh, left for the weekend. So it was like late, that Friday night or Friday afternoon rather. And it wasn't until I came back on Monday and saw the injector that I took out was all crusted over. And I knew right then what had happened, that they ingested death, either drove it and then it stuck the injector open, crankcase filled with fuel, locked the engine up, and yeah, that needed an engine. So nonetheless, the fuel pump driver module thing, it's 430 gears. Matt Roden, look, there he is, 430 gears. Cheers, everybody. 430 gears. Ooh, nothing like a fresh can of bubbly. Got that bite. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like Clamato.
Oof. I like it. I like it. Well, let's go through these comments real quick.
Saw Matt in the comments.
Yeah, I just seen him.
He was at the bottom.
Got a question.
Oh, okay.
2016 F250 Super Duty. My left rear door intermittently shows a door open even when it's closed. Even set off the alarm a few times. Door sensor, yeah. Door jar switch. I have a video of doing a driver's door a jar switch. It's gonna be very similar. You could probably reference that and take that repair. No big deal.
Switch or wires.
Yeah. Yep.
I got a problem. We talked about it before, but I want to ask you again.
You got a problem?
Oh, it's
What
what it
problem
is.
you go?
The camera on the truck doesn't work, but it does work sometimes.
Oh, you're talking about your new 22?
Yeah, it depends on
Oh,
if
we
it
got
if
that
it
on the list. 22.
if it works. If I start up the truck and it works, it will work. But if I start up the truck and it don't work, it won't work until maybe the next time I start the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So something happens when I start where it doesn't fire up.
Was there a recall on the 1116 for the TCM recall? I don't think about a recall, but never heard of a recall for a TCM. I don't know, DS. I'd have to, when something like that software, when you bring that in, I'm gonna check to make sure, the APIM's been configured. Any of the camera modules, the well, not the IPMA, but the IPMB, make sure that's been configured, and maybe do a LIN module initialization. A lot of times there isn't hard parts, so to speak, that we're going to replace, like a cable or an actual camera. A lot of it's software. It can be kind of difficult to explain because I don't know exactly what the computer's doing. We're just giving it commands. And Ray, if you had to do, let's say, I don't know, if you had to replace somebody's mirror on their windshield or whatever, the rain sensor, do you have the capabilities of using an aftermarket scan tool to do like a LIN module initialization if you have a camera replacement?
It's hit or miss on my particular scan tool. Yeah, I mean, I tried to program a couple key fobs the other day and it just wouldn't do it, on a truck, but then some things I just get full access to. So it's kind of hit or miss. But ultimately, yes, we do have a separate system. I'm not going to name who it is, but it's basically a remote company that has access to software, and they can link up to this device that we plug into the car, and they can upload any kind of software that we need. Of course, it's a fee, and it's kind of inefficient, so we try not to use it.
But it can.
But yeah, ultimately it can be done. It's just how much time do we want to take?
Yeah.
And is that turnaround okay? Because sometimes it's faster to just drive the thing over to the dealer and let them just run the programming sequence. rather than set up my appointment with this third party and then try to get them to go ahead and install that. Because if something doesn't go right, we've got to start all over again. So it always, you know, it's just, it comes down to time at the end of the day.
Speaking of programming and time and whatnot, sometimes you gotta go outside, think outside the box. But I had to replace the BCM in 11 through 16, and this customer didn't have tire pressure sensors, had valve stems. Well, part of the procedure, because the TPMS is in the BCM, to configure the BCM, you have to do the pass, 10-minute lockout, do the pass, blah, 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 blah. Got to do a parameter reset, part of PATS. Got to erase and program both keys, part of PATS. But the other thing you have to do is program the tire sensors, because what's happening right now that I've got the truck, the key on, the interior lights are going like this. The cab lights in the back in the bed are going on and off with the dome lights. It's going like this. And that was the concern with this truck, was his dome lights weren't working. Well, now the dome lights are working, but because I can't do the TPMS configuration, you know, to program them, and it would eventually stop. So what I've had to do in the past is I got a truck, a like model truck. I can't use an Illumi-Duty because all these tire sensors are going to be on different frequencies and whatnot. I was able to pull in front of this other vehicle while my truck is running. And if you guys did know, both Illumi-Duty or 11 through 16, if you hit the hazard button, Illumi-Duty's on the dash, 11 through 16 right here on the steering column shroud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beep beep. It's going to go into tire training mode, and I was able to go to the other truck and use its tire sensors just so that I can get rid of the blinking dome light that's now functioning to configuration complete the BCM. So kind of a pain in the butt when you guys come in, with these big old tires and have the tire light on, and we have to replace modules like that. It kind of hinders us, because not only are we going to have to, if somebody wouldn't have thought of something like that, your other dealer is going to be like, oh, well, you're going to have to replace these rims and tires because you can't put these tire pressure sensors in it. Well, you're going to have to buy a new tire. It's going to be some Mickey Mouse, rigmarole until you figure out what's going on, because your lights are just going like this, truck running. It don't matter. Kind of silly, but that's their programming sequence, which, by the way, I didn't know was made by Lear. It had Fomoco and Lear insignia on the back. I guess I just never noticed that. I just changed mine in Forescan. Yes. 22. We're going to speak 22 problems, but 22 update. If any of you guys, okay, have not had the opportunity to get the heated steering wheel with your truck, 22 can now be added after the fact, just like I did my 20. If you guys reference the channel and go to heated steering wheel, I have the gentleman's information. His name is Ryan. He's on the East Coast, makes a phenomenal harness. It's got instructions, quick disconnects. You will have to add a pin over to the BCM. It was really nice. You'll see in the video that I made. But he does have the capabilities to do the 22s a little bit different. They don't have the module that I use to plug in for the CAN bus because of the Sync 4. So he's got a circumvent way to get that accomplished. But if you guys are wanting to do that, check that video out and reach out to him. The parts that I used on the 20, the steering wheel is pretty much going to be the same, whether or not you have no cruise control. You'll see it's kind of a pain to look the part numbers up, because when you go to the dealer and they're going to be like, hey, I want your VIN. Well, I don't want the steering wheel for my VIN. So you're going to have to give them your VIN but you got to tell them to take the VIN filter off. And all the ones that your truck doesn't use are going to be in red. So they're going to have to comb through that. Leather, yeah. Heated, yeah. Cruise control, no. Cruise control, yeah. You're going to need to pick what wheel you have. And then you need a clock spring and the heated control module. His wiring, you guys are going to be toasty, ghosty. Good for the arthritics, definitely.
Dude, the 22s, how you hit the camera and can turn it on while you're driving. That's so cool. I wish I
That
could figure
Boful?
out. I wish I knew how they did that. I don't have the big screen in my 22. I got the smaller one, just like the 17 through 21, the smaller screen. 17 through 20. Press the camera button, shows behind you. It doesn't turn off any speed.
Limitless just announced to me that Nav TV is not going to have that same turn signally camera operation thingamabob that you can control. I'm not familiar. I haven't been in messing with too many cameras with the Sync 4, but I don't think you can control that with the turn signal.
They're not doing it anymore? Or what are you saying?
Nav TV is now going to be for Sync 4 now. They didn't have it. They didn't
Oh,
have
they're
it
coming out
available.
for the 20.
Yeah.
They're coming out now for the 22s.
The triple ding has got to be the most goddamn annoying thing ever. Thank goodness for Forescan. Yes, Vortex, that is a godsend. Absolutely.
Are you talking about the rear occupant warning?
No, like when you turn the truck on, it's like doo 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 doo.
Oh,
Mm.
dude, the new on my 22 has got the rear occupant warning. Every time you turn off the truck, it beeps at
Ding
you.
dong. He's got all of his ding dongs turned off.
I gotta figure out how to turn that off. If that's in Forescan.
What's up, fellas? Would love to jump in real quick. Meet everybody. We all here. What up? Ding ding. Hey, look. I just read it. Ding ding. Steffi Weffy just called. Well, earlier today. I have to call you. Only you, Matt. Only you. Triple ding is the sound of me, people. Yeah, double horn honk was one of the things I turned off too. I had never had a push button start vehicle, and when I first got the truck, I was, what the heck? Why didn't it just beep at me? What the fuck? Yeah. 22 water leaks. I don't know what's going on. Actually, quite weird with this particular one. I don't know if you guys ever have been experiencing any wiper pump problems with the pump actually working but nothing spraying. This is my first one, and I wound up having to replace the washer pump. It was almost like the pump was losing its prime. But the other interesting thing, this customer was complaining that his vanity lights didn't work, his universal garage door opener didn't work, and the map lights didn't work, but the overhead upfitter switches did. Weird. Fuse? Ha! No fuse. Just kidding. All BCM controlled, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, but sometimes they kick our butt, and Rich and I, we need to continuously be remembering that all of these new BCMs have what they called FETs. Do you know what a FET is? It is it is something, once we clear the code, then that electronic resettable relay is basically what it is, turns back on. This particular truck had a short to ground on the interior lighting circuit. And one of the things it wanted you to do was disconnect everything on that circuit and see if the lights started to illuminate. And that did not happen. But what I noticed when I pulled the right-hand vanity mirror down, the connector goes through the headliner, but I noticed the wiring was between the headliner and the skin of the roof. It was not in the void of airspace where it should have been. So I'm like, really? I couldn't see far enough in there to see if it was any bare wire, but I immediately reconnected it and cleared the codes. Boom, the lights went on. I'm like, what? I tried wiggle testing, trying to get it to reduplicate, and I guess that was one for the books. Definitely unfortunate. This particular one, it was a tremor, had 4,000 on it. Getting a bunch of 7.3 crank seals, so I don't know what's going on. Rich, how many crank seals you done?
On 7.3s?
Yeah,
None.
this is gonna be like, this would be one, two. This would be my third one. I got Millie. I have one more to do. This will be my fourth one.
On the new Fords, the new 7.3 LS.
Yeah, this one had 33,000 on it, and I got another one that's got like 10,000 on it, both 22s.
Interesting.
All you guys with the 7.3s, go out and check your crank seal. It's pretty evident when you see the bottom of the oil pan. It's going to be all dusty, oily, real dirty looking. So that tremor is a lady magnet. I just had my wife tell me a couple weeks ago or last week. She's like, I saw a tremor, man. I really like that. Tremor.
I mean, it's not
Bro.
that hard to just make your 250 or 350 look like a trimmer. It's just 35-inch wheels. I mean, different running boards. But if you have the wheels,
He doesn't want the running boards. We've had
No,
bad
I
experiences
don't.
with them.
I don't like the running boards. I do like the trimmer wheels though.
Yeah. I know Todd. If Todd comes in here, he'll know what I'm talking about. Forget them running boards, man. Things smash your shins. Smash his face with an iron. My knee. Oh man, that hurt. Shooting
felt it.
blanks. What the hell? Matt Roden got a vasectomy. I didn't even know you were married. I guess you have to be. You having kids? Boy.
What?
He said he had one. He's shooting blanks.
Why did he say that in the live chat?
Yep. He tripping.
He spayed himself. He neutered himself.
He neutered himself. 35-inch wheels. We running donk duties now. Amp steps. I just seen amp boards just came for the 22s. Ouch. Do you have any info for the replacement harness in the tailgate malfunctioning? I don't. However, it is super simple to do, and I hope you find one because it's been on a bad back order. All I can say is probably take the harness out and see if you can rebuild it yourself. That's pretty much all I got for you on that, unfortunately. Check your fuses. Check your fuses. Why do I say check your fuses? Because sometimes we forget to check our fuses. We get all heated up in the moment, go out, check the car, doing this, and sometimes we forget to check the fuses. I remember as a novice, I had pulled in a Lincoln LS, and it came in for a no start. So it went through towing it all in and blah blah blah. And back in the day, the techs who smoked would smoke right outside this garage door. And one of the senior techs, I had the PDS hooked up to it, was trying to figure out why it wouldn't start. And yeah, I don't know, remember what I was wound up doing, but I remember being in front of the hood and having it popped, and he comes walking over. Gravy, did you check your fuses? I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean? Sure as shit. Guess what fuse is blown? The ones for the fucking fuel injectors. Are you serious? Like, all right, you got me. And you know what? I don't remember that often, but I don't forget that. And sometimes we have to be remembered. And it was fortunate enough that today we were able to join hands, and Rich and I, in getting a C-Max figured out and back to the customer. And he can kind of paint the picture, so to speak, of what wound up happening. But it's a good reminder to check your fuses.
So, first of all, I want to say thank you to Aaron. I really love this community that we have here, man. It's really, 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 really cool to be able to reach out to each other when we need help. And I needed Aaron to be there in my ear while I was looking at things. And he's good at following flow charts and wiring diagrams and stuff like that. And I had enough of my own workload going on. I had a senior tech come over to me and he says, hey man, I ordered a body control module for the C-Max and windshield wipers didn't work. And the conclusion I came up with was the body control module was bad. I didn't question the guy. I have my own work to do. I have subscribers dropping off vehicles now, probably more than I have regular customer base, which is, good for me. But at the same time, there's expectations that have to be met. And I gave him some pointers on how to program this body control module, and he walks back over and he's having trouble doing it. And he comes back and he says, I'm still having problems. And I said, do this, this, and this. And I pointed at some stuff in the screen, and he came back over a third time. And he's like, dude, I need you to come over there, man. And mind you, this guy's been in the field for like 30 years or more. And I went over and I just took over, programmed the module from scratch, tear tag, get it in there, get everything back online. Nothing would come on at all. And I finally got everything back online, and the windshield wipers were still not working. So I'm like, well, looks like looks like the shop's eating an $800 module. And it was on back order. Luckily, we were able to get it within 2 weeks because the customer's been waiting for their vehicle for 2 weeks. And I basically said, did you check fuses? It's one of the first things that you should have did. Did you check fuses at all? Did you rake I don't know if you guys know what the slang term that we'll use is like, did you rake the fuse panel? Did you check the fuses and stuff? Did you make sure all the basics were done? Well, yeah, I did. And I go outside and I'm like, it's kind of funny that the dash is saying no key detected. It has like all these different lights and stuff on. And I'm like, what do we have in common here? And I look at like fuse 23 or fuse 24, I forget which one it is. And sure enough, it's a 5 amp. I think what I would like to call it is a wake up fuse, something to basically say, hey, I'm trying to activate now, use the main relay and fuse and stuff to do the work. And it's part of the secondary onboard diagnostics, as well as the windshield wiper and multiple other things. And I could look at the top of the fuse and I could see where track burn marks where the fuse had blown had come out of the corners of it. And so I'm looking at it right now. I can tell there's something wrong with this fuse. Oh, I'll replace it real quick. So he pulls the fuse and puts it back in, the windshield wipers start working. So, well, it's probably your problem to begin with the whole entire time. And you missed it. You missed the fuse. And I get into it a little further and stuff. I'm like, let me figure out now. All the codes have cleared, except I can't get the occupant classification to come back online and the restraint control module to come back online. So obviously there's a power problem here because I'm checking fuse 86 at the body control module. And ain't nothing coming out of it. It's grounded. So I'm trying to go through the wiring diagram and everything. Mind you, I'm thinking about my own problems at the same time, the vehicles I have to take care of. And I had reached out to Cody. Cody wasn't available at the time. And then I called, I actually talked to Mike Chan for a little bit. And me and Mike Chan, he was on the show previously, if you guys remember. Real good dude, solid tech. And he was actually under a vehicle. I was talking to him and he kind of shared some scenarios in the past where he was working on a Super Duty and put a body control module in it. And because the programming was so new, it wasn't actually the right programming for what he was dealing with. So he said it could be a programming issue why that field effect transistor is not turning on. If the field effect transistor doesn't turn on, the circuit won't be able to operate correctly. So he said, I actually had some tips from engineering to get rid of IDS, delete the program from the computer and download an older version, and then reprogram the body control module. And then all of a sudden the windows started working. I didn't originally have a no window roll up and roll down problem, but that fixed my problem. So now with Mike putting that a fiasco in my head, and then me thinking, it's still a fuse, it could be a programming issue. I had to call Aaron and talk to him for him to make sense of everything. And then finally I got a hold of Aaron. And while I was going through everything, Aaron was walking through with me, and I needed him in my ear in case I forgot something or I just didn't see something, because I'm trying to rush. This guy's been waiting for his vehicle for 2 weeks, and I felt bad that I'm one of the main guys in the shop right now that are fixing these problems when other techs are missing them. And I knew what I was after. I knew I was trying to convince myself it's not another body control module. It has to be a supply problem somewhere. I just am missing something. And then Aaron put it all together for me. I was under the dash. I was like, I'm checking fuse 86. There's no power coming out of it. I go back out to the battery junction box. My main powers are going into the body control module, but something is missing. And as Aaron's telling me, hey, I see something here that I want you to check. Go to fuse 16. And as he's saying that, I'm looking down in the battery junction box, and I see 2 male prongs sticking up through the box with nothing in the slot. And I'm thinking to myself, at the same time Aaron says that's probably going to be your problem, Ford doesn't supply both the power supply pin and the pin going to where the work is supposed to take place. They'll give you a power pin, and then if you want to put a fuse in that slot, you have to add your own pin and fuse in there if there's something you're trying to add to the vehicle. And as soon as he said it, check fuse 16, I was like, there is no fuse 16. The guy took it out of the fuse box. The guy took it out of the fuse box when he was actually going over everything. And I think he never put it back in. He forgot that he did that. And he created a problem. He put the problem in to the customer's vehicle because he was so frustrated trying to find out what the problem is, that he's older. He's been doing it a long time. I'm sure he's kind of burned out by everything. Over 30 years in one field is a long time. And I sympathize. So talking to Aaron and going over everything, and me being kind of the go-to guy now, I knew that one of us would be able to walk through this and figure it out. And that was the problem. It was simply probably a dollar fuse and a technician induced issue after the dollar fuse was replaced that ended up fixing the entire problem. So now we're going to have to eat the $800 body control module and all the labor that went into it. And the shop's going to have to come out of pocket with the labor to pay me for finding the problem and using my resources like Aaron. Again, thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. That fixed the entire thing. And
hell yeah.
I knew you being there, it would all come together, and it did. It came together. Now the customer can come back and pick their vehicle up. Unfortunately, it took 2 weeks to find another technician's issue, and it is what it is.
It's not that I helped Rich. It's we got two guys that know the Ford system. We have 2 guys that know the wiring diagrams, and it's basically like your the road course, and it's basically what I was doing, because it when you go from the computer to the car, and then you got your meter, and then this. You hold on. I was at what? Wait, F32. You got F29, 360, and all these. You got a lot going on. When you got that somebody's here in your ear, it makes it a lot. It makes it go a little smoother. The culmination of events. You guys have seen it happen live. No bullshit. He was at work. Boom. We fixed his truck. We're like, whoa, we won. It was awesome. We saw it. Guys, I found my problem. Here it is, right here. Boom. It was really cool. So it doesn't happen like that all the time, but sometimes it's better to have another set of eyes. I just had one of my coworkers go for a ride with me today on a truck I was driving. I'm like, man, this doesn't seem right. You know what? Hey, can you go for a ride with me? Tell me what he thinks. It's just, a lot of the stuff we do is repetitive. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of feel by the seat of the pants. Um, um, in the steering wheel when we're taking off, like we know we have a good sensation of what 10 pounds of boost feels like. We're just taking off normal. We're making about 10, 11-ish pounds of boost. I know, I look at it every day. And when we don't have those feels or those sensations, all right, hold on, something ain't right. So it's cool to be able to extend that mechanical reach from afar. Okay,
it would have been cool if that was recorded.
$1.89. Man,
Recorded.
Yeah.
You mean the diagnostics?
Yeah, like all of a sudden you call Aaron and then it goes back and forth.
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been cool.
I
That
was
would
just
have
so
been pretty sick.
frustrated, guys. I was just so frustrated. I needed to talk to somebody, and Aaron was the go-to guy there, as he's been multiple times before. So that's kind of like why this whole thing that we're doing here is really so important, is because it just works, man. It works. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know how to find the answer.
Man, I tell you, dude, if we had our own Pleximax,
Yeah.
we got aftermarkets, we got the fours. Man, I'm telling you, we'd be unstoppable. All of them. It'd be great. Where can you go to get an upper oil pan, fuel filters, and a fresh fade? Or face shave and a brake job? I mean,
Hey,
fuck, man.
Aaron finishes
on to
up his
something.
job. He's got a customer there. Hey, looks like you need
Hold
a
on.
cut, man. You
This
wanna get the
customer's
cut
here
while
with
you're
me half the day.
here?
It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Your one-stop shop, baby. I ain't got to go nowhere else. I'm fixing to go to my guy and get it all done, the car
I
and
love it.
everything.
I love it. Fuel check-in. Okay, we got a $3.98 for regular gas. Okay, $6 a gallon here in the state. That should fall off this side of the map. What else we got? $4.75 in Delaware. I think I'm still $5. I think I'm $5.15. Virginia diesel $4.84. Gasoline $3.49. Okay.
I think it's like 5.35 or something here.
Yeah. Okay.
Gas went down to about 4.30, 4.40 a gallon, but in some areas it's down to 3.80. But diesel didn't really move.
Has anybody, where did it just go? It was moving too quick. Has anybody had their 10 speeds click when you shift into reverse or drive at slow speed? Click? I don't know. You got 7.3 or 6.7? I can't say.
What do you
No.
mean shift into at slow speed?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're not coming to a stop and you're shifting into something at slow speeds from going forward to reverse, you're gonna get a click. The barking ball.
Right. If you're going into park by mistake, you hear the click of the parking ball. But if you're just going in reverse and then you want to go to drive, do you come to a complete stop first?
Yeah.
Speaking of boost, is there a boost limiter related to the emissions before dealer work? I would sink into my seat after got Mo boost of note. There's not a boost limiter, but dealer work. I don't know if the dealer did a reprogram, but if they did an emissions related update to the PCM or something, I mean, that would have been something that would have changed that. There's no boost limiter. From a complete stop, he says. Red gas, 539 North Idaho, Ottawa, Canada. Hello. $5.59. Damn. Anyone know where to get a sink? Oh, no, I wouldn't know that. Hole in cold side charge pipe. Let it bounce off the rip limiter. Oh, Christ. Reeling. Killing me. HSM. HSM. Cold side, hot side. Who's running HSM? I spoke with the owner this week, and he said you guys are calling in. You guys are ordering stuff. That's good to hear. You guys are going down, basically down the playlist and getting the cold side, the hot side. Not that the hot side is needed. I think the cold side, without a doubt. Hot side, definitely a little better coupling. I like the clamps that HSM is using, and plus, I mean, why not have a different color instead of that steel pipe? But not only can you get those, but to complement the fuel system, we have the spin-on filters for the upper and lower. Definitely an upgrade, even if you have an aftermarket tank. That bitch is tall. Or if you one, just get rid of the Ford stuff, and it's I like running OE stuff, but I think some things out there are better than OE, most definitely. Is it me, or does it look like Sean sinking into like quicksand? Like I can't really. Oh, he just woke up. He heard me talk about busted. I look at him smile. He's like busted, motherfucker.
It's about time
HS
for him to wake up and say, well, what about this?
He was just resting his eyes. It's cool.
Reeland's rolling right now. I know. I see him. Yeah, the Purdy red pipe. They got that pipe. When I put that on my client's 450, and we were actually doing it outside, so you could see the sun hit the pipe. Man, that boy was sparkling. She looked good. It was a nice looking piece. Controversy in the fleet shop about reprogramming PCM without collar on it. What's the issue? If there's not on there and we're programmed PCM saying it's on there, well, you're not putting it on there, but you have to. Oh, reeling. You have to pick. There's two software cals that you can get, and by answering that
So
question,
funny.
it's going to denote what cal you get, and if you answer wrong, you're going to have a check engine light on, and the only way to get rid of that is a big pain in the butt.
Air tag.
Is the cold side pipe in the 22 still a big issue like it was in the early years? Seems to be better connections on the 22s. The 11 through 22 is the same pipe. I have a video on it. I believe it was an 18, and it was under warranty, so I had to put the warranty, the OE one back on, but it had a straight slit where they all. I just replaced the 19 one yesterday, as a matter of fact. Same thing, had a slit in it. Same pipe for the 11. If you get the HSM, it will fit the cold side, no problem. Same thing with the hot side. Looks good, fits good. 430 gears, Zeekster 430 DS. He says 430. He's still almost ready to pick that boy up. Waiting on a couple of things. Fuel piping kit? I don't know that. Yep, he is. Hold on, so you guys hit me in the comments, and then you guys hit me on the text, and it just totally throws me into. Oh Christ, you guys crack me up, man. I love the interaction with you guys. It's funny. But 7.3. I had a bunch of guys ask about the 7.3 catch cans, and I know it's a PFI motor. You know, we really Ford Boss had a good video where he talked about catch can, and are they really going to be? Are they needed? The ones that we see on the EcoBoost, the ones with the direct injected. My wife actually, we had one on her show, and if you guys aren't familiar with what they look like on a gasoline engine, we have some quick disconnects that you guys, I'm sure are familiar with, just like the fuel line hoses. But this is a JLT. This was on her show, and it's a little container that, let's see if I can open it. It's been here for a while. Nope, not coming off, but
So
this thing spins off.
the show didn't have dual injection, it just had direct injection.
It just had direct injection, yeah. But yeah, it had a different kind of contraption sitting on it, and typically between oil changes, I would see, maybe that much oil in it. I can't say if it would double if I didn't check it through the oil change, but I mean, it had to be emptied out. Don't really see this on the 6.7. You guys know what we have. We have that CCV box. The new ones, I guess I should say, not the 20s, but some of the Illuma duties prior to the 20 design change. Didn't have a filter either. We don't have a filter in the 20s. We don't have a filter in the 21s, and as far as I know, the 22 doesn't have it. 23s is going to look a little more different, but I think not having the filter is a good idea. However, I think having the pressure sensor, I think the pressure sensor should have stayed, because a lot of oil leaks, Matt, if he's still in the comments, oil pan boy, he knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure Rain Man gets oil leaks, and Ford Boss sees his diesel dude. I know my guys, myself, we're always doing oil leaks, and a lot of them are caused by excessive pressure built up in the crankcase, and that leak or that oil is going to take the path of least resistance and going to go out whatever hole it wants to go out of, whether it be the T joints up at the oil pan, front crank seal, rear crank seal, injector O-rings. Why is the side of my engine look like it's crying? Take the oil fill cap off. Oh, well, you know what? That's probably why. Do you really need to replace those seals? Done it a couple times. Hey, let's spray this off. Let's change that CCV out. Get back to me in a month. Bone dry. Well, gee, I wonder why. So, real important. If you have GTDI, absolutely. But for you port fuel injection guys like the 7.3, I don't see a lot of them come in with catch cans. This was the first. God, I knew that was going to happen. I've only seen one come in, but I guess asking you guys if you had the option to do that, if you'd put it on yours.
In theory, you shouldn't need it for the 7.3 because fuel sprays the intake valves, and that shouldn't be an issue. And they should look pretty clean.
It shouldn't be an issue, but it's not necessarily whether or not the valves are clean. It's just keeping the oil out of the combustion chamber in general to keep the combustion process as clean as possible. So a lot of people ask me all the time, should I run one? Why wouldn't you? I mean, there's no downfall to it if it's operating correctly and it's keeping excess or any extra oil from getting in the combustion chamber. There's no reason not to run it.
Mm-hmm. All coked up. I can see it now. When we take these EcoBoosts apart, I mean, they're really carboned up, heavily carboned up.
You know, it's funny we talk about these like maintenance things and things that happen like this recently. I don't know if you guys know the car care nut.
Mm-mm.
He's a Toyota guy. He's got his own shop. He was a dealer tech and ended up becoming his own shop owner. And he talked about this the third time pretty in depth about OCIs and things like that. And one of the things that he replaced one of the most reliable Toyota engines that he says you could possibly buy. It's probably the most reliable. It's like from a 2015 Camry. When he pulled that piston out of the engine, you could see that the oil control ring didn't have any more elasticity to it at all. It wasn't opening and closing anymore. It had coked and closed up so much that it had sealed itself inside the bore and could not do its job anymore. And that's one of the reasons. And he says the same thing we do. There's no reason for anybody to be going and extended OCIs. Like, I don't care how many times you try to make an excuse, 10, 15,000 miles some of these guys are trying to run because of the quality of oil. It's not so much the quality of oil, it's how this engine is running. Is it a dirty engine? You know, is it one of these engines that are excessively pulling crankcase ventilation through the intake again? And that's one of the main benefits to a catch can, is to keep as much of that out as possible.
How many times have we taken intercooler boots off? Right, we take off Transit, or we got I don't know what's something, even the Chevys, what do they got, little 2.0 turbos? We got the intercooler pipes, take them out.
There's always oil in them. There's always
oil. Always. The one classic telltale sign is you'll I've seen a lot of ambulances with these. You'll pop the hood and directly, you're going to do oil change and they're not complaining about anything. Right above the cold side pipe, you just see. Oh yeah, look at that crack. I mean, it's just cracked all up the bend of the pipe, and it's the oil, I feel, that is deteriorating the rubber. And it's like, as it comes out, if you guys picture in your head, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys are looking at me. This is the front of your truck. You got, your battery, your fan right here. Okay, you got your intercooler, and the duct comes up and is like this. It comes out of the intercooler. As it comes out of the intercooler, the next turn it has to make is to go into the throttle body. Well, it's naturally going to want to bounce off this wall. Well, this wall is the bend in the pipe, and thing's always under pressure and boost, and it's just kind of like eroding that bend. It's what it's doing. It's eroding. The oil is just making it thinner. It's just what happens when you wear them white gloves and you go and do an oil change and you come out and it's a XXXXXXL. Well, I put on an XL and it ballooned up. That's not good for the rubber to be in solvents and oil and fuel. And that's essentially what's happening to the charge ducts. Now, HSMs, if you guys look at the video, he has got silicone, a special coating on the inside. It was kind of like a pinkish. It's a coating that is real robust to the oil. So we're not going to have that breakdown of the material like you see commonly. That's why I'm replacing them on the OE pipe. So definitely an upgrade. You won't be let down. Definitely good product, but it really bugs me when I see somebody taking care of their truck. Everything under the hood, is up to par, is up on maintenance, and hey, can you put this SNS kit on? I'd love to, man. Thank you. Thanks for reaching out. Take everything apart, and there's just soaked with oil. It's just like. You guys know where that's coming from and what you would need to do. It's up to you whether or not you got to do what you got to do. But no, excuse me, I wouldn't want to be eating my own diarrhea. And that's kind of what it is. And it's on there for one reason. And it's basically slowly killing it itself. You're ruining these components and whatnot. It's not lubricating anything. It's just unfortunate. But all we have to do is deal with it and try to keep up on it as best I can. And I guess that's not something that's going to apply to 7.3, but what will apply to 7.3 and 6.7 is shocks. And I think I may have found my choice. What do you guys think about Fox?
I think they look nice.
People were saying Bilstein. I've worked with Limitless on a lot of stuff, and he has a lot of experience in lifts and air suspension and this and this and this. And so that's not my forte. And I asked him, we were talking about it, and he's installed Bilsteins, he's installed King coilovers and a lot of great stuff. And I asked him, I said, what would you put on yours? He said Fox. And I said, a lot of guys saying Bilstein. So I don't know. Don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm kind of leaning toward the Fox. I don't want any remote reservoirs. I just want something that would be an OEM equivalent, but I don't know. I like my Bilstein shocks.
Fox is really nice because it's really nice to look at them. If anyone's ever like looking in your wheel well, see that beautiful Fox shock in there.
Right. Sean, let me ask you a question. What did the Fox say?
I don't know.
Don't answer me. You're a fucking funny dude, man. DS frame. A lot of guys were commenting on the frame video, or the frame short and video combined. It is, I can't believe how many guys thought that, for one, DS is going to have a salvage title, and two, why didn't they just total it out? And clearly you guys could see the video, like I specifically titled it 25K in repairs. That truck's $100,000. Why in somebody's mind would they think the insurance company is going to total this truck out for 25K? It was kind of funny at the same time, but I had to explain to a couple guys, like, bro, people put frames in these things. It's just what they do.
What number is it that they totaled the vehicle? I have no idea. Is it like 50%?
Oh,
value?
I don't know.
Maybe someone in the comment section knows.
I would probably think that would be depicted on the company, right?
Right. What percentage is it? Like 50%, 70%? I don't know. That's something somebody have to Google.
I don't know.
But the cool thing about that truck is it has a persona that's $100,000, but mine is not 100,000. Mine was like 80,000, and I got a bunch of different deals and everything, so it really wasn't even that much.
Yeah, but they're going to be looking at what the market value of that truck is. That market value of that truck is and what you paid for it.
The market value right now, yeah, it's like 95,000 right now. So, yeah,
that's a lot of dough.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they are now. And then I've even, listed it for sale just to see. And then a couple of people were like, what's the VIN? It just says minor accident on the vehicle report. It doesn't say, I mean, it's interesting. The airbags didn't go off.
Rich, what's up with the Panthers, buddy? I haven't heard anything about these Panthers.
Panthers.
My
Panthers? Cars?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the one is about to go in Monday for paint. The whole passenger side's getting painted from that guy running over the dude ran over that tire tread on the highway and threw it at my car. Big Super Duty scooped it up and threw it at the side of my car and put a big, like, I don't know, almost baseball sized dent, and it hit multiple spots along my car. So they're going to paint the whole side of it, all new moldings and everything. And then
wow.
I'm about to get done with the oil change and send it off. I only have like 500 miles left. I ran a red line. So you guys know it was that ester based red line, the really good expensive stuff that people have been after me on. So somebody was nice enough to buy a bunch of it and send it to me and say, look, we just want you to review it. So I'm about to send that oil off, and then I'm going to start driving the town car for the next couple months and give the Mercury a break. I fixed and worked on 3 different Panthers over the last week and a half. Subscribers dropping them off at the shop.
Dang.
A guy drove about 40 minutes away today, dropped off his 2003 town car, executive series, and he's getting a shudder under light acceleration or load with the accessories and stuff on, but it's mainly just going uphill or whenever the vehicle has to try to really keep up to speed whenever the torque converter is engaged. And it's already been to multiple other shops. They put coils in it. They put a couple alternators and stuff in it because they thought it was a charging system load. They put plugs and stuff in it. I mean, this guy's put a bunch of money into this car because it only has 86,000 miles. And I think it's from like Arizona or California. I took it out today. I'm going to put the video up tomorrow. And these earlier model Panthers, they had an issue where people wouldn't service the transmission soon enough. And they would go by the Ford spec, of 100,000 miles or whatever it would be, and they'd drag it out as much as possible before they would service it. What would end up happening is it would start screwing with the torque converter, and the torque converter would start to shudder under a light load with accessories and stuff on, or going uphill just a little bit, and it would start to lug it down. It would almost feel like it was misfiring. And if it shuddered enough, your knock sensors would pick it up, and it would start trying to mess with timing to fix a problem that it was thinking was going on when it wasn't timing at all. It wasn't ignition at all. So I was able to get it into the shop today, and I pulled what was in the pan out, 2.5 quarts. It was a solid, like lighter brown color, but it didn't even smell like trans fluid anymore. It just smelled like old oil now. And I pulled the pan, and then I pulled another 5 quarts out of it while it was running, and I replaced everything with some fresh fluid just to get a mixture in there to see if I was on the right track here. And I monitored my PID data while I was driving to see the torque converter. Whenever the shudder would happen, you could see the solenoid and the percent and everything start bouncing around all over the place. So I was able to confirm that I had a problem before I did the basic 7-quart service. And then I reran it again, and it almost completely eliminated all shudder going on with this transmission at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I called the customer up, and I kind of updated him on everything that was going on, and told him I make plenty of video footage so he can kind of see and follow along with the video that I load tomorrow, so he can see what's been done. The customers get a kick out of that when they can see their vehicle in the diagnostic process that goes into it, because it just makes them feel that much more comfortable with your work. And the guy was like, you know what? You don't even have to tell me about prices and stuff like that. I trust you. Just fix it.
Just fix it.
Just fix it. Get it right for me. And so tomorrow I'm going to do one more cold run from cold to warm just to verify that the shudder's gone, because I drove it while it was hot. But now I want to do a cold soak, and then right from the hit, just get right out on the road and re-verify that there's no shudder there with my steps that I've taken so far. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a full trans service to it.
That reminds me of Anthony from Super Duty Service, whom I've reached out to. I gotta reach out back to him. I haven't spoke to him in a while, but that is kind of what he does with his videos. He'll get a truck in the shop and get down to the part, what's going on, and he'll actually make a video of the problem, what his course of action is going to be. I don't know if he talks pricing, but I can't remember, but gives a brief synopsis to the customer. So it's a different way to kind of get an estimate, or when you call the customer, what really bugs me is when you hear service advisors or your friends, or an event that happened at somebody's dealership, and you hear the service advisor talking to the customer, and that's how you're explaining this concern to them.
Right.
Like, that's not even what I told you. Why would you make that up? No. but it can be kind of tricky. But when the customer can see that, I think that's kind of cool to be able to provide that sort of um, oh wow, he's not bullshitting. It's
Yeah.
not in the quick lane. Oh, here's your air filter. This is dirty. Here's your wiper blade. So here's this is the color of your trans fluid. Like, here's a 30-second video. This is what's wrong with your car. Boom, 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 and then you can call at your leisure to discuss, the financial dealings you're gonna have to go with. But definitely, how would you guys um would you guys be accepting to that if, let's say, you went to your Ford dealer and everybody's starting to be real techie. They send you a text message, welcome to your car's being, they'll continuously update you. But if you have your service advisor or something send you a video of what actually is going on with your vehicle, how would you guys be receptive to that? My friend of mine has a Subaru, and the Subaru dealer does this, and he actually sent me the video of the Subaru tech checking out his vehicle, and he just wanted me to look at the video. It's like, hey, do you think this guy's being for real? And I'm looking at the video, I'm like, wow, yeah, his CV axles fucking blew up. He's showing you right. He don't know. He's a robot mechanic. He don't do, so man, I could do that. I don't have a problem, making that kind of thing. But for a customer who's always, you go in, you get the dreaded call from the service advisor. Yeah, they figured out what the rattle was. It's going to be $2,500. Well, yeah, it's coming from behind the dash. They got. Well, I want more info. What do you mean behind the dash? Like, can you go into a little, like, what, it? Hey, having a video clears all that up, man. Watch it with your two eyeballs. I like it. All I know is blank Ford in Oak Lawn. It's not good. I want video and photos of work to perform. Like it. I like it. I like the video. I can do it. Does Phantom drive the Subaru? Phantom does drive the Subaru. Yes. 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 Well, I guess we'll cut it off here. Looks like DS is about to cut off his circulation. I don't want him passing out on us and have to call the EMS. I do have an EMT in the comments, so I can make sure to rush first aid. If you guys want to get down in the after party, not party, but hang out with us, chill. I did put my email in the description or in the comments. I'm doing that right now. And if you guys want to get on, you're more than welcome. We're just hanging and BSing. Check us out Friday. We have one I think you guys would be very interested in. You probably should watch. JH, Crouchster, everybody, appreciate you for watching, hanging out with us, Rainman, 4B, and Sleepy D. Cody. Good night, everybody.
He's gonna want to fall asleep. I'm EMS on call, so he's gonna want me to come back.
He EMS on call. All right, fellas.